I'm not really one to feel sorry for people that much because of the way that the internet has changed the world. I believe that people have positive role models and examples thrown in their face all the time. I feel like to sit back and say, oh, well, I'm just a video game porn addicted playing, guy with no muscles and no physique and no physicality. Oh, well, it's because I haven't got a positive role model. I feel like today isn't an excuse. I feel like that every single second that you're scrolling on your phone or looking at Instagram, etc., there are dudes out there, even so much as selling little coaching calls or courses or, who you'd want to be like. Mm-hmm. But it's easy. It's easier to sit around and play video games and masturbate than it is to get the money to buy real supercars and seduce beautiful women in the real world. It is much easier. And because it's easier, I feel like a lot of people don't want a way out. So I don't need to give them advice. I feel like the advice is out there. If you're watching this and that describes you, good. At least you're listening to people with a healthy mindset who maybe can inspire you a little bit to try to be like that. But the type of person who really needs this advice and isn't going to get it is never going to watch this podcast. They're not going to look at the photo of you there with your shoulders, etc., standing next to me with all my whatever car I'm next to and think, I'm going to listen to these two. So those people aren't watching. So we don't need to worry about them, you know? Just let them, flip our burgers and cook our meals. The old saying of, you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, that's older than the internet. That saying it predates the internet. Mm-hmm. But essentially it means the 5 people who influence you the most. And, if you do live alone or if you don't have many friends or you don't have a big group of people, what you're watching and what you're listening to influences you massively. So cut the crap out. Exactly the same with a healthy diet. Mm-hmm. It influences your health. A healthy mind is exactly the same thing. Scrolling up and down Netflix, watching trash all day is not going to get you anywhere in life, literally, ever. Whereas, you might hear a piece of advice in a podcast, in this podcast, that, makes you wake up and think, I actually need to get my shit in order. So be careful what influences you.
If you look back on your life, what would you say was the hardest period for you to go through? And how did you overcome it?
Well, my dad dying was the hardest part for me and Andrew to go through ever. But what you have to understand with things like that is you don't actually have a choice. People say this all the time, like, how did you deal with that? It's like, well, what was my alternative? Bring him back to life? There is no way out of it. So you can either, and people say this all the time, oh, my mother's got cancer, she's going to die in 6 months. What do? I say, enjoy the next 6 months with her. As much, like, there are lots of situations in life where your hands are tied. So with dad dying, it was a simple matter of, okay, you can let this destroy you, which is an option, and people do this all the time, drink themselves to death, I don't know, start cutting themselves, whatever stuff people do to cope with difficult situations, or you can be sad anyway, because you're sad either way, and work 18 hours a day. And in fact, I said that the time I was working the most, when I was around 27, 28, I think he died when I was 27. So you can work 18 hours a day, not let anything distract you, and stay focused on the mission, so that way you have less time to think about it, and you could be sad while you're working. And then, when you start to come to terms with everything, you've got millions of dollars, as opposed to, oh, I've come to terms with everything, but I'm in a rehab clinic. So I think that bad things are going to happen to your life. And everyone watching, this is the sad truth of it. Your parents are going to die too, before you. I mean, most of you. So that is going to happen. So I didn't really see why it was difficult. As much as it was unpleasant, I don't think it was difficult because there isn't a way out of it. So it's the best way I can describe it. You could be a sad winner or a sad loser. So go and win every day.
Have you got any advice for 21-year-olds who, I guess, seem pretty lost and they don't really know which direction to go in? What would you offer to those guys in terms of advice?
Oh, I've got loads of pieces of advice. Loads. If you don't know what to do, don't go to university. That's the first thing. If you know what you want to do and you need a university degree to do it, then obviously pursue that. If you don't know what you want to do, going to university is going to burn 3 or 4 years of your time and likely get you into a bunch of debt and a bunch of trouble that you don't need. If you don't know what you're doing, avoid university. Step number 1. 2, young men who are lost. What can I say? Don't waste.
Yeah, don't waste time.
Yeah, don't waste time on frivolous pursuits. Stop trying to live like the man unless you've actually become the man first. And that means women. Stop trying to get laid all the time and get beautiful women. Because if you are a nobody, the time and effort it's going to take into convincing a really beautiful woman to go to bed with you is much less time than it would take me or Mike, because we are a somebody already. So you're burning your hours. Yeah, don't chase women too much. Don't chase having fun too much. Don't chase clout too much. Don't try to be seen in cool places that you can't actually afford to be in. You know, Dubai is actually a very interesting example of this. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but that's all good advice. It's simple. Dubai is a very good example of this because Dubai is a place where people can look like they're doing something big when they're doing absolutely nothing at all. There are hotels in Dubai, like the hotels I stay at, that are 1, 2, 3 grand a day, 10 grand a day. They do exist. And there are also hotels in Dubai up near the old town where, you know, the laborers and the workers stay that cost $35, $40, $50 a day. That does happen. You could fly to Dubai, and people do this. Men do this with no money, because men don't have the ability to just, you know, hit dating apps in Dubai and live the good life. They come to Dubai with their friends. They have no money in their pockets. They have a nice shirt that they'll wear, fine. And they'll take a taxi from their really cheap hotel down to downtown, picture in front of the Burj Khalifa, click, picture in front of a Lamborghini, click. Now they're a guy with a picture in front of a Lamborghini in Dubai. They're a guy who hangs out in Dubai now. He's at the Burj Khalifa. He makes less than $1,000 a month, probably. You know, people do this. They literally clout chase based on location. And that is the biggest waste of time that I've ever heard of. You know, go on a vacation within your budget and have fun with your friends, by all means, and take your mind off trying to be somebody. But yeah, people pretend too hard today. And the effort it takes to pretend short term will make you look richer or cooler or more successful than you are. But if you take all the time that you spend pretending and actually invest it into trying to become what you're pretending to be, you'll get there. Yeah. But it will take, again, 3, 4, 5 years, and people don't want to do it. So I ran a business with my brother that failed before I was 21 years old. That qualified me more to run a successful business than anyone who from age 18 to 23 studied business at university for 5 years and got a master's in business. Me, having run my one failed company, was more qualified to run a successful company after that than they were, because the person who they learned from at university doesn't run successful companies. It's just a bunch of book learning. It's a bunch of theory that isn't really applicable to real business, in my opinion. University has a monopoly on what's the exact term I'd use? University has a monopoly on the borrowing power of young people. The financial borrowing power that I have as a multimillionaire is huge. Young people have none. If you're 18, 19 and you try to get a loan, you can't get one. University has a monopoly on this. So if you're in the United Kingdom, and this is very, very sad, and you are 18 years of age and you go to a bank with a great plan, you say, I am going to start a business. My name's Tristan Tate. I'm 18 years old. The bank's already not interested. But let's say they even heard you out and you had a nice, solid business plan. Said, I need £30,000. I'm going to start this business. It's going to become a successful company in my town. Eventually, I'm going to expand to London. I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. This is my business plan. Can I have £30,000? No. It will be no 100% of the time. If you're an 18-year-old kid and you say, hey, I want to be a pilot. I don't want to join the military and fight your bullshit wars that you want us all to fight to get a pilot's license. Plus, a lot of pilots, they want you to go to university first nowadays. But regardless, I want to be a pilot. Can I borrow £30,000? I need this many hours of flying time at this airfield on these aircraft. If I complete all these various hours, I'll have a pilot's license by the time I'm 21. Then I want to apply to work for airlines. Can I borrow some money, Mr. Banker? No. Hi, I don't really know what I want to do with life. I'm 18. Don't really know what I want to do. So I'm going to study business, economics. Oh, here's your check for 60 grand, 70 grand. Ching, ching. Here you go. Enjoy paying it back one day. They have a monopoly on the borrowing power of young people. And I don't believe that if the battlefield was fair and amounts of money were offered for things like pilots' licenses, for things like business idea startups, I feel like if the borrowing power of young people was not concentrated and monopolized by university, young people could flourish so much better and so much more. But it is, which is why I'm going to plug very quickly the Real World, the educational platform myself and my brother have. We have 18 millionaires teaching 18 different modern ways of wealth creation. And the subscribe, it's $149 a month to join, but $49 a month after that to stay inside. $49. Everyone makes $49. And now you have 18 actual millionaires giving you lessons and telling you how to make money. Before you want to go to university, if you don't know what you're doing, go to the faculty car park. Go to the parking lot of your university where the teachers park and look what they're driving. You won't see one car that you'll ever want. Ever. So these are the people who are teaching you. These are the people who you're listening to.
What advice would you give to people who are just like chronic procrastinators? They're just not taking action.
Yeah, the advice is very simple. I have the perfect piece of advice for them. It's have fun staying poor. Have fun staying poor. You're never going to make it. I don't care. Because if you can't look at your Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should get into shape. If you can't look at my Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should make some money. And you literally, with all the inspiration shoved in your face nowadays, I mean, you're sitting in this luxury apartment in Dubai overlooking the ocean. I don't even know what day is it. What day is it? What day it is?
Sunday.
On a Sunday afternoon. Like, this is what we do. If you can't watch people like us, if you're watching this podcast and think I need to do something and you're a procrastinator, good. I don't care. Have fun staying broke. Because like you said, I need someone to wash my cars. I need people like you. So not everyone can make it to the top, and there's no help for those people who can't motivate themselves. If you can't pay your bills, it's hard to pay your rent, you're eating the crappiest food, you're driving the crappiest car, all the beautiful women in the world don't look at you, you can't afford any nice clothing, and you're sitting around thinking, just a few more hours playing Fortnite, then that's your station in life, and enjoy it.